Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of STAGR Cast. We appreciate you tuning in to part 2 with the legendary Lanny Benoit. If you haven't yet listened to part 1, you should tune in to last week's episode where we discuss what it was like growing up at Benoit, some 200-pound buck stories, and a whole lot more. In this episode, we talk about the glory days of Maine, some early Vermont hunting, Ontario, what a tracker's diet should look like, and more. So without further ado, let's dive in. You're listening to STAGR Cast, brought to you by STAGR Gear. Ready?
Yep, good.
All right, so kind of a couple more questions for you about Maine, Lanny. Nowadays, I know you're not on, Facebook and the internet much, but there's a lot of Vermonter type of hate in Maine. They don't like seeing the green plates coming to Maine. There's definitely a little bit of tension there. I mean, we get along good with Mainers. We get a lot of Maine listeners and stuff, and it's kind of just like a funny little rivalry and stuff. But was there much Vermonter hate back then, or
a lot?
Really, back then?
Yeah.
No
Same
kid.
with Ontario.
Yeah.
They just didn't like them green plates.
They see the green plates and they're like, "Get those bastards out of here," or what?
Well, the problem was, too, and when I started hunting up there weren't many Vermonters, but then all of a sudden they started going there. Mm-hmm. And what happened was when we were hanging up them big bucks on the Duxbury Ridgepole there, they found out they're from Maine.
Yeah,
That's what did it.
That just took off from Vermont here. And I'm not trying to claim any credit for it, but I know that had a big thing to do with it.
I've read in articles and stuff talking about how you guys, in a sense, put Maine on the map to make it a destination hunting state,
Yep.
And when that started happening, you saw more green plates showing up and other out-of-state plates. Did you ever have people that were like messing with you, following you around, trying to do what you guys were doing? Did you ever have to deal with like crowd control essentially in a sense?
It's same with Ontario. I used to park my Suburban where you couldn't see it. Never park it where they could see it. Because if they figured out it was my Suburban, don't bother going back there the next day.
Really?
They were lined right up.
Yeah.
No kid.
So you had to do that in Maine too. So.
And they were just looking for you guys and shit. Oh, Lanny's there. Time to go dive in the woods.
Yeah. Well, the last place I'd want to hunt after I hunted there for a while, because that means the freaking thing is hung up someplace.
I say, you get them on the game pole at that point, right? By the time you're in there looking.
Well, people do that. You shoot a big buck over there or catch a big fish, and they all go fishing there.
Yeah, it's not there anymore.
It's gone.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's.
I tell you though, you could do worse though to follow you around, and some of your scraps that you don't want to shoot, boy, they'd be awful nice looking to me.
I mean, you've said you've passed up more bucks than you've killed.
I have, yeah.
That's something I can't even imagine. How many? Just a quick question, not to be braggy or anything. How many 200-pounders do you think you've killed since the beginning? Do you have a tally in your head? I'm just curious, just for me.
I can't tell you that.
No, just not sure. No. Okay.
Oh, I know.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. I didn't mean to put you on the spot like that. I was just curious.
You're not putting me on the spot.
Okay.
I get asked that a lot.
Okay. Yeah. No, I hear you.
My buddy did that to me once. He goes, I said, what fishing lure are you using? He goes, I can't tell you. I said, why? You don't know? He goes, no, I won't tell you.
Well, I don't mind saying it, but it's kind of embarrassing for me to say it, and I don't want to be looked at as a game hog.
No, yeah, no.
Oh, no, absolutely.
We don't mean it like that. No, I was just curious.
Someday I'll tell you if you.
All right.
We'll drinking beer.
We'll save that for another one.
Yeah, someday we're drinking beer together, I'll tell you.
Yeah, for sure.
But you can't go telling everybody.
No, we don't want to do that.
It's just something you can shake your head at and go, really?
So I'm sure it's an impressive number. No
well, you got to remember, Ontario, how do you make videos?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you can party on out there. That's why I wanted to go there.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can?
I said, oh, boy, you mean we can make some videos?
Yep.
For sure.
We'll shoot this one, and we got another tag.
Yeah. And like you were talking about before, those bucks, when you guys first got out there in Ontario, they're just hanging in small pockets and stuff. So you guys could go right in there and get them more effective.
They were pretty easy
I
picking.
was say easily get them.
Yeah, they were still wild deer, like deer are, but they didn't go far if you tracked them. They just,
Yep.
they might have had a 3-4 mile loop or something.
Yeah. Did you kill more bucks up there tracking, or was it bare ground? Because, in some of the videos, it looks like there's a lot of those days where it's like a little bit of patchy snow and stuff up there. Like you guys didn't get the snow that Maine did. how was it set up there? Did you kill a lot of bare ground bucks there too?
Well, yeah, we did it every which way because we were trying to make a video.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So before I got to Ontario, 99% of the bucks I shot were by tracking. Period. That was it. I killed all my bucks tracking, 99%, 98.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Oh damn.
That's
good.
damn good.
Who was your favorite cameraman that followed you around? As far as who?
Tom Blaze.
Tom was the best one that meshed with you. Yeah.
I love Tom Blaze. I mean,
Yep.
him and I were like two peas in the pod, and
Oh yeah.
we got along great, and we used to think alike, and it was just he was awesome as a camera guy.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody that could even come close to him.
We talked.
I didn't
to him.
even know he's behind me.
Yeah, we talked to him not long ago. He's out there trying to track elk down.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Montana.
He's tracking elk. He said he's still doing it. To this day.
He said
so.
the same thing about you. You guys had that special camaraderie as far as how to get it done, to get the bucks and get the footage and everything. He said a lot of guys just couldn't. They're too much of a hassle in the way of you trying to get the buck, but you guys had something special there for sure.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
I remember one time we was out in Ontario and we tracked this big buck all morning. We weren't working. And he said, geez, we got to get some footage. I said, all right, we'll go across the road. We'll get some footage over there. Let's go get one over there. Went over there and we shot that nice big 10-pointer. And he looked at me, well, that didn't take long. See, the funny thing about Tom Blaze, when he first showed up, he had a truckload of tree stands in the back.
Showed up to meet up with you guys for the first time.
Yeah.
And him and I going around the woods when we first went to, boy, this would be a good place to put up a tree stand. I said, ain't happening. Just be patient. We just need some snow. We'll get this done.
Yeah.
And the first buck we shot together was, tracking was the waterfowl buck.
Yep.
Probably the best video. My favorite hunt of your guys' Benoit's videos.
So here's what happened. I go out to Ontario. I'm narrow weight, bare ground. This is not my game. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to shoot a deer by chance. I want to do it on snow.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going home. I'm going to keep an eye on the weather. When it snows, I'll come back and we'll get it done. And everybody's looking at me like, what?
Yeah.
Well, when you're confident, you know what I mean? So I come back and we had some snow, and I think the first or second day we got it done.
Yep. Yep.
Big buck too. That was a big old buck too.
He's probably panicking. Oh, what am I going to get for footage? He's gone.
Well, I told him I'll be back. We'll get it done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Shane told him that too. Shane says to him, "Don't worry about Lanny. He's coming back. You'll see. He's going to shoot a deer. You're going to get it on camera if you're lucky.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can keep up."
Oh yeah. That's the thing. Yeah.
Were you so back in the day when those no snow days, were you just kind of cruising around scouting on those days when there wasn't snow, just waiting for the snow to fly, and then it was game time for Lanny, or what?
Yep, absolutely. I'd done that for years. Just find the big bucks. Then when it snows, they're cruising in this area, and you can.
Yeah. For sure.
That's back when we had deer and snow.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't worried about shooting a deer, and Tom knew that after he was with me for a while. I mean, we shot some nice deer tracking.
After the filming was done, after you guys had made the movies and you went back to hunting without the camera, was it weird, or was it an adjustment, like going back to no camera, or was it?
I didn't mind having a camera guy with
Yep.
me. Some people got all paranoid and bunged up over it. Oh, I got a camera guy. How am I going to shoot a deer?
Yeah.
Give me a break.
Yeah. No, it's especially when you got a guy like Tom who's a good hunter in his own right. He knows the deal.
Yeah, you could have a good hunter that's on the camera with you, like he was telling us about. And did
Yeah.
you, before you and Tom ever linked up, and I'm sure you had some other cameramen and stuff with you, part of Tom's crew, did you ever have to kick a cameraman right off the track? Be like, get the hell out of here, or what? You don't have to throw any names out.
Chew some ass.
I got to tell you about the first camera guy I ever went with.
Let's
And
hear
you
it.
guys don't realize this. We were on the NFL Super Bowl
I've been told that. Yeah.
in the commercial.
Yep.
You were? Oh, I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, I'd like to find that because that was nice to see. We were the talk of Vermont back then.
Yep.
God, I see the Benoit on there. Of course, that made us more famous.
Yeah.
That's what started the whole thing.
Yep.
What's the name? The guy that's was announcer. He's from Waterbury. He's the one that did that.
The announcer or the book writer?
The announcer.
Oh, geez. Oh, Ken Squire?
Ken Squire was responsible for that.
Yep.
So anyway, so they got this super duper great shape, awesome person, can run the ridges all day, and he's going with you. I said, okay, great. So about 11, 12 o'clock, he wasn't keeping up. So I'm slowing down. Finally, I said, look, buddy, I'd like to, we ain't found a big buck track. And we just happened to have a bad day of it. We couldn't find one. And so, of course, I'm putting more miles on. This is before I learned how to do it with a car.
Yeah.
So pretty soon he goes, well, camera's heavy. Oh, okay. Well, let me carry the camera. It's a true story. So I'm carrying the camera, and he still can't keep up. And well, this battery pack, because back then they had to have all these batteries. We're like the camera today, where you got one little tiny battery.
Yeah.
So I took the battery pack, and he still couldn't keep up. And he looks at me and goes, what the hell? How do you get in shape? I said, well, I have coffee and donuts in the morning. Does that help?
That's awesome.
Well, I never did anything get in shape.
I wonder if that could be located, though. That would be a hell of a video to find.
It's got to be somewhere in the archives or something.
Yeah.
Boy, if you could dig that up and advertise that, you know what?
Oh, yeah.
You know what that would be for you guys?
Oh, man.
That Ken Squire's a hell of a character, man. He, my brother races at Thunder Road, and he was doing the NASCAR races for a long time. And one time they were at Daytona or something, and he says, "Well, we're here at Thunder Road." He was at Daytona. He forgot where he was.
Yeah.
It's quite the character.
But that would be something if you could find that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Some
for
digging
sure.
around for that. Huh.
Boy, I had the old Field and Stream of your dad. Is Larry Benoit the best hunter in America? I had that at hunting camp, and then my grandfather cleaned out camp and got rid of it, and I liked it.
Oh, man.
Oh, I can't believe you got rid of that magazine. Oh.
It's a special issue right there.
Yeah.
Speaking of deer camp and stuff, back in the day when you guys had cameramen, what was, like, I know you guys said you had the buses and stuff. What was deer camp like back then? Was it strictly business? Or did you guys have a little bit of fun at the deer camp?
Oh, no, we always had a few beers a lot of times. And I mean, we never went out carousing around, bars or nothing. But we always had a few beers. And
especially after you get one, probably.
Yeah, I guess, sort of. But, yeah, we always went to bed fairly early. I mean, we didn't stay up all kinds of late.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of times we had campfire outside, and we'd sit around talking about that or different things. So it was a lot of fun.
And you guys wall tented and stuff back then, right? You had
Yeah.
wall tents and the buses. And did you guys ever settle into like an actual like camp and for some seasons or no?
We did towards before we got the buses. We got sick of the wall tents. Mm-hmm. One night we're camped in, it was early, middle 70s maybe, somewhere in there. Mm. We're camped out up in the big basin, and the wind blew so hard that night kept blowing our tent all over the place. Couldn't keep it bolted down.
Yeah.
So finally there was an old horse barn over there, and I said to everybody, let's go see if we can put the tents inside of that thing.
Yep.
So we picked everything up. We had the tents inside the horse barn because the wind blew so hard you couldn't keep a tent up. You'd blow it.
Oh, yeah. What was when you guys had the buses? I mean, was it hard to dry clothes out after a long day, or did you have wood heat in there and everything was pretty
Dry
hot?
clothes out?
Yeah, like your wool jackets and stuff.
I
Or
said
just
you didn't. He
just went
didn't.
hunting
He
and-
threw them in the truck, right? You just throw them on the back of the seat and say, "Screw it, they're going to be wet the next day," right?
But Tom got used to that, and he agreed with me in the end.
Did he?
Yeah, he'd put when we get done the other day, he'd hang his on the back of his seat. I'd hang mine. We'd go. People, where's your coat? Just gonna get wet tomorrow. Hey, we're mountain men, man. We don't dry your coat. What do you dry your clothes out for?
All right.
Oh man, crazy. Yeah, you guys had some sweet rigs back in the day too. With your what was it, Casper? Was that one that you had?
Yeah, we had Casper, Buster. I can't remember them all. Big Red.
What were you doing for those rigs? Were you just take us through like in your eyes like the ultimate hunting rig?
All right, the ultimate hunting rig,
Let's
as far
hear
as
it.
I'm concerned, is the Suburban.
Okay.
And I've tried everything. I had little Broncos way back. I had a Scout, and I had Wagoneers. They were all great rigs. Finally, one day back, I think it was '83. I know it was. I said to a friend of mine, we've tried all kinds of different rigs to go four-wheeling in, and I've always wanted to have a Suburban, and I found one in Stowe, Vermont.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go up and buy it, I think, if I can. That was back when gas was being shortaged again, so they're considered gas hogs.
Yep.
So I went up, I didn't pay much for it at all. Come back and we put a 3-inch lift kit in it with 35s.
Oh yeah.
Which was easy to do with that Suburban because you just had the leaf springs in the front, and we just lifted it up, and we headed down the road when it was doing this, but come to find out, that drag link was like this, so you had to straighten it out. So we figured that out, and then we did it in the back, and then you put a winch on the front eventually, and you go four-wheeling with them. The things are awesome. I mean, you can't imagine where you can go with a Suburban. You say, well, it's big and long, and how do you turn it around? I never had a problem turning them around.
You ever get hopelessly stuck with one, or you always were able to get out?
Well, kind of hopelessly. 3 hours.
3 hours?
You still got hope.
Oh, yeah.
You're not quite on the hopeless side yet.
Yeah.
So when I got to tell you a little story. I had this little Italian guy with me. Tom couldn't make it. And I punched in my speedometer when we started four-wheeling back in some big woods up in Ontario. We went in 27 miles. Through deep water. I mean, we did some real rough four-wheeling to get in there.
Yeah.
So I get to this big swamp area, big flat area, really, cattails sticking up, and the road went across there. Well, the road was all cleaned out from flood or something.
Yeah.
So I walk out, and I'm looking at it out in the middle, and I said, boy, I don't like the looks of this. So the little Italian guy says, well, Lanny, if you can't make it, don't worry about it. I can't hook on. There's nothing to hook onto with a winch.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't make it, don't worry about it. He says, I'll walk out the main road, have somebody come in and pull us out. Looked at my swing, 27 miles. To start with, who's going to beat their rig into here to get this far?
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Because you ain't walking nowhere. I'm turning around going that way.
Yeah. So you know when to put the stop on. Because, I mean, you were known for the brothers to be doing the most crazy off-road, and there's that Benoit video where you're fucking jumping the rig, aren't you?
Yeah, I've done a lot of crazy stuff.
Jesus.
But anyways, it's kind of comical. You walk out. I said, listen to me. You start walking right now, you ain't going to get there. Be dark.
Holy cow. Yeah,
27 miles. You know how long it'd take you to walk there?
Take me a week.
That's crazy.
Oh, shit. No, that's great.
And you
That's
couldn't
the
call
adventure,
nobody
though.
because no phone service. You're just in the big woods.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think you said in your in one of the videos, it's got to be an adventure every day or it's not fun,
I like adventures.
Yeah.
One of the biggest adventures I had was in Jeff Ledoux and Mark Scott. You know Mark Scott?
I know the name.
You should ask him someday about the bridge that went across. All the planking was gone. There's one tree. And there's 2 trees over here across the bridge. They used that to start with, see? So I drove up to it, and this tire lined up perfect, and this one did. I just need someone to do this when I'm driving across.
Yep.
Because they look strong enough. Well, Mark Scott's on the other side. Last time I saw him, he went running around the corner hanging on his head. I ain't watching. I'm not watching this shit. He's screaming, you guys are nuts. He's 8 feet down.
Oh, man.
On the other side of it. He got in the ring. He looked at us. That was funny.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, there was some country in there I wanted to check. I go 10 miles through the woods there. Nobody been in there.
Oh, yeah.
And it had nice new snow. We never saw one deer track.
Really? Oh,
That was in Maine. Not one deer track did we see up in there. I was so disappointed. I says, fellas, look at this. There's this huge valley up through here. Nobody's been in here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No four-wheelers, nothing. There's got to be something in here.
Virgin ground right there.
Never even saw a deer track.
No shit. Can you think of ever like a time when you're a buck you killed or something that due to your like ability and willingness to go on those adventures and like do some crazy off-road and shit where you found a buck out there? Was there ever times like that?
A lot of times.
Yep.
That's where I
Just
shot a
getting
lot.
away.
That's where I shot a lot of big bucks. Was getting off the beaten path because the deer have a chance to grow up.
Yeah.
If you can find a spot where nobody's hunted in years, and there's deer there, there's going to be some big bucks there.
Yeah.
That's the way Maine was when I first started hunting there. You could do that.
Mm-hmm.
But now you can't because they've locked everywhere.
I said there's an access road every half a mile, quarter mile, everywhere now.
Yeah, you can't get lost even if you wanted to.
No. Yeah, you got 2 working legs. You can ship it out to a road somewhere up in Maine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'll get lost today. Let's see, how do I do that?
Yeah. But back then, the roads were just a lot more scarce, and if you could beat the shit out of your rig and get out in the back country, you were finding a big buck most days.
It didn't take much either because there was a lot of big country that nobody hunted. Yeah. Got to remember, when I first started hunting Maine, this is how everybody hunted. They walked up a logging road, shot their deer, and came back.
So they were just hanging by the logging roads. The deer were, or a lot of the deer back then.
Most everybody just walked up logging roads and shot deer. Yeah. Nobody tracked nothing.
Really?
Yeah. Nobody was tracking anything in Vermont. When I started tracking, nobody was tracking anything, and they thought I was crazy for going chasing deer around all day.
So you guys were like some of the first to do it. Like, were you guys the first to put track? I mean, obviously you guys are known as the tracking family, but like, did anybody before your dad or anything do it?
I don't know of anybody that was tracking anything.
Never heard of it. Yeah, I've never heard of anybody.
There was the Duffy family might have been doing a little bit of tracking.
But just starting to merge as you guys.
A lot of deer drives back in the day. Everybody was driving deer.
But nobody tracked nothing.
No.
Just, you guys kind of created the art. And you must look at it nowadays to see how many people are into it and just be like, do you ever have like a feeling looking at everybody at like Huntstock and be like, we were part of this?
Well, you know how much fun it is to track a deer when you're younger and you can have a little pain. Because there's a lot of pain in tracking, right?
Absolutely.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, when you push yourself, there's pain.
Oh, yeah.
This is not just you come back at nighttime. If you wander them mountains all day, you come back, you're so stiff after you ride a ways. When you get out, you can barely walk.
For sure.
And
to do it over and over and over.
Yeah, and the older you get, the worse it gets.
Well, I'm just saying, so there's a lot of 20-somethings that have never seen your videos. And they're watching these YouTube videos with GoPros, and there's nothing against GoPros, but they haven't seen the footage that you guys put together, which in my opinion is still the best tracking videos ever made. So they're gonna blow. You're gonna blow a lot of minds when they get home and put those DVDs in the players.
Well, if you watch deer hunting on TV, they're all tree stands. They're all whispering, and they can have a suit and tie on, peeking out the window.
Yeah, you're right.
That's true. That's true.
Why do they whisper after they kill the deer? They're going to go down and get on the four-wheeler and go get it, but they're still whispering.
Yeah. The next customer is coming in the next day. That's why.
I ain't making fun of them, but
it's all good, but it's definitely not the rewarding part that you get from tracking.
Well, when you track a deer, he's going to take you, that buck, if you can follow him long enough, he's going to take you to places where you can put up a tree stand.
Yep. Oh yeah.
He's going to take you to the best places that you could possibly ever shoot a deer, if you want to sit.
Yep.
He's going to take you scenic areas, everything. Everything that a person, if he loves the woods, is going to see following that deer.
Yep.
And you're going to see a lot of deer following that deer because he's going to take you through all the doe places.
Other deer.
Yep. It's just rewarding to track a deer. Say you track one 3-4 days and you finally get him. I mean, it's so rewarding to do that. It's you come back at nighttime and you talk about how like there was a big buck in Ontario. I finally shot him. But the first day I tracked him, another deer distracted me, and I'm coming up through, Tom and I are coming up through, and I'm looking over here. There was a body of a deer, and I could see it over there. And I said, that ain't him. And I finally went like this, and that sucker had been watching me, Tom and I, for a little bit.
Yeah.
The minute we made eye contact, he took off. Well, I pulled up, and I said, I got this big guy. I went, powie! Just as I pulled the trigger, he went into a little gully, and I shot right over the top of him. I see the bullet explode in the bank behind him. I go, you lucky, lucky. I looked at Tommy. I said, that deer's so freaking lucky. You don't understand what I almost...
Oh, yeah.
2 days later, I finally got him.
You got that same one. Yeah.
But it took 3 days of tracking that deer, and we lost him one day. Couldn't find him again, and he come back.
Because for the most part, you've seen all these bucks that you've killed. They're running big loops for the most part, right? A buck's going to come back around at some point to where you cut his track or within a proximity. Would you say
Maine
that?
is a good example of that. Years ago, we used to call it 3 days.
3 days.
They come back in 3 days.
Yep.
Just a 3-day loop those big boys are on, running around checking does. Is that what it
And
was?
some of them deer had some huge loops. I mean, I started tracking one day at 3 slides, and I ended up on the dump road
Yep.
up in going toward Jackman.
Yep.
That's a long.
Yeah.
I got back at camp that night. It was Thanksgiving Day, and all I could think about was the wine and the turkey and the chocolate cream pie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Is there a now you've shot a lot of deer, but is there one in your mind that you're most proud of as far as the toughness of the track or the size of the deer? Is there a story you could hit us with of a deer that is just special in your mind among all the ones you've shot?
I've had a lot of them where I was totally exhausted after I shot the deer. One of them was back in 1965. That deer that finally charged me because he got sick of me chasing him all day. I couldn't hit him because I'm out of breath. Just shooting the cat.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When I ended up shooting that deer, he fell right there, and I fell over here.
Charged you, huh?
Yeah.
You gave everything you had.
I gave everything I had to get that deer in 65. When I shot him, I hit him right in there.
Yeah.
He had his head down, coming right at me. And I stood there for a minute, and I just fell over backwards on purpose because I was so tired
Just
and drained.
exhausted. Yep. Yep.
And that's the way I used to be. Well, if you look at the waterfall buck, you can see the steam rolling off me.
Oh yeah. Big time. That was an incredible movie. I mean, that was just awesome. That had everything in it that you need to be.
But see, that's the way I used to do that. My jacket would get heavy, even if it wasn't raining or snowing because of the sweat.
Oh yeah.
And what I used to do when I hunted in Maine, I used to drink at every decent brook I came to because I was so dehydrated from going so fast all the time. But see, it was fun for me. It wasn't painful.
Yeah.
It was just fun. I enjoyed doing that. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's why I used to tell them, run, because I'm going to.
Oh, that's awesome.
That charging, I never heard that charging buck story. That's crazy. So he was, right at the end of the day, he was coming at you.
Here's what happened was it snowed 3 feet of snow in 1965, northern part of Vermont. You could barely walk in the stuff. It was that deep. So I said, how am I going to get up in the woods here? So I said, all right, walk up the brook.
Yep.
So I got in the brook, and I walked up the brook where I could, and I got way up in that valley there on the backside of Jay Peak, on this side, not the ski area side, but the other side is Black Falls is what it is.
Gotcha.
And I got way up in there, and here's this big deer track crossing right there. I could see this big footed thing. I thought it was a 300-pound buck. He had huge feet on him. I said, look at this thing. But I'm looking, but his body's dragging in the snow. I said, what's up with that? Well, come to find out, he was short-legged deer, and he was knock-kneed. His legs went like this in the front.
Yeah.
He was a irregular,
Just different.
and he had big feet. And come to find out, he had a huge neck and shoulder, and his body was built like a buffalo.
Yeah.
He had a small rear end on him, but he just grew like this.
Yeah.
After you're looking at him on the ground. So I tracked him up on side the mountain. I got up there. And there was another buck up there. So I jumped the other one out first. I almost shot at him, but I didn't. I said, that ain't the one. So I went back. Yeah, okay. And I went around like this, and I jumped him out. He didn't go nowhere.
Yeah.
Jumped him out, and he went over, and I didn't get a shot at him. So I ran behind him, caught him in the hardwoods. I'm shooting at him, but I'm out of breath.
Yep.
And the snows are freaking deep. You can't go in it. And he couldn't either
Yep.
because he's just too short-legged. He's got to jump all the time. So way up in the valley, I'm coming down through, and I'm shooting at him, reloading, running and shooting. Can't hit the damn thing because he's 150 yards away, and I'm out of breath. My dad's down in the parking lot looking at Uncle Wendy. He says, well, he's getting closer. Hear me shooting him. Well, he's getting closer. That's what he kept telling him. This went on for about half hour, 45 minutes or more, coming down to come right down to the swamp.
Yeah.
We ended up within probably 500 yards of the truck before it got done.
Wow.
Deer went all the way from the mountains down into the swamp. Well, I come around the corner. I kept seeing him, but I couldn't get a decent shot. I kept pushing him. His tongue was hanging out when he's looking at me. That's how hard I ran him.
Wow.
So I go pow, and I didn't hit him very good or something. He turned around, come right back after me.
Just had enough of you.
He literally came after me like I was a predator, and he was sick of it.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And I hit him from here to the window. Boom. And he skidded right there. I said, I'm kind of, well, that's different. You know what I mean? I'm saying, a little nervous, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Son of a bitch. And he had big, long points on him.
Yeah.
He weighed 205. That's all he weighed. But he had huge feet of a 300-pounder. And I laid there for at least 20 minutes.
He weighed 225 at the beginning of the day.
Well, it could be. But he only weighed 205.
Yeah.
I laid on the ground there for at least 20 minutes. I finally got up. I didn't even got the deer out.
Yeah.
I just staggered my way back to the parking lot.
Yeah.
And I said, I finally got, because my dad heard that one shot. He said, well, I think that's it. So I got back up there, and they got the tractor out of the farm, and we went down and dragged him out with that.
Oh, that's good. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's crazy. That's
I was pretty whipped up.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's the definition of you versus the buck right there. That's it.
Yeah, but I used to do that with a lot of them, and but it was fun for me to do that.
Oh, yeah.
Just push them to the limits.
Yeah, I think about it when you're young and you're full of it, and you got all kinds of energy, and and you think you're invincible, and you ain't scared of the woods.
Oh, yeah. That's this. It's you against the deer, and you're at your prime, so you can do anything. You know.
Let's say something.
Yeah, it's like the guy in New Hampshire. He's driving down the road, and he sees this buck run across the road in front of him. Tongue's hanging out. Headed for the Connecticut River.
Oh shit.
So I get to the field where he crossed right behind him, and I see him get into he ran across the Connecticut River. I said, well, he's made it. That's where I got that saying from.
Yep.
So what I didn't realize was the guy that stopped and watched him run,
Yeah.
he had a garage station up the road.
Okay.
So I go back to the rig that night, and I want to fill my rig up, so I stopped there, and he goes, Jesus Christ, the dogs are running a deer again around here. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, just down the road, and this big old racker comes across the road, tongue hanging right out. Dogs are running him. I never told him it was the dog was right here.
You're the dog.
Oh, that's
Jeez.
awesome.
Dog determination.
The only thing that saved that sucker was that river.
No, he's going into New Hampshire or into Vermont?
He's going into Vermont.
Well, we needed the genetics in Vermont, so you did us a big service there.
He said, frig this place. I'm tired of this guy chasing me around. Because we went up the mountain, back down, back and forth. We were going. Finally, he went.
Oh, God.
Jeez.
That's awesome.
Never did get a shot at him, but he knew to keep out of the way.
He relocated, though.
Yeah, right in Vermont. Going back to, being young and stuff, and you were talking about how there's like that whole young generation of trackers have probably never even seen your videos just because they haven't been available. Do you think young guys nowadays are just overthinking? Do you think that's a barrier of success when it comes to tracking versus just like hey, I'm going to go out there and this deer is either coming with me or it's going to get darker across the river? Do you think it's just overthinking or you think it's just the lack of drive or what?
I don't really know how they're really thinking. I think if they got the drive to do it, I think they'll learn as they go.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If they can think about what they're doing, they can adjust to later on slowing down and being a better deer hunter. I'm not saying everybody should just run after a deer.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah,
I mean,
everybody's different.
That's I was doing it because I grew up in the woods, and I can run and walk all day. It didn't matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. No. Now with the less snow too, it's a little hard. Not to make excuses, but it's a little harder to get good at it if you only got 3 days a season to do it.
Well, back then we had years where we didn't have any snow, and then we had years like that one where it was a lot of snow.
Yeah. So there was years back then that were no snow. So
that was the year I backed into the guy's garage up there to get traction to get up over the goddamn hill in front of me.
You got to do what you got to do.
Hyde Park. 'Cause I used to go across the railroad tracks right there, and I couldn't quite get to the top right there in Hyde Park.
Yep.
I'd back down, and I'd just almost get to the top, couldn't make it. And for some reason, I looked over to the left, and that garage door was open. And it was flat.
Yeah.
I backed in, and my dad said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm going to go in this guy's garage, and I'm going to rev it up and let the clutch out. I'm going up over that hill somehow.
Yeah.
Can't get up over it the other way." I backed in, I revved it up, let the clutch out. I come roaring out the garage by the guy. He come out on the fucking steps as I'm going by. And I go up over the hill. My dad's goes, "I hope you didn't get your plates."
Oh, shit.
Oh, you got to do what you got to do.
That's the first I've ever heard of that. Using it as a launch pad.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
I
man.
came out, he had his fist up there. He didn't know where we were. I was just trying to get up over the hill, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you didn't steal nothing.
Lucky he wasn't shooting at you.
Now listen to this. It was a 56 Ford Crown Vic.
Oh, wow. So it had some weight to it.
Well, I don't think they were that heavy, but
No?
a 56 Ford, and they had a 292. They called them a Y block in it, V8.
Jeez.
They didn't have a lot of power, but they made noise.
Yeah, yeah.
Shit, you guys were hunting out of every vehicle there was back under the sun back then. You got the Suburbans, Crown Vics.
I was thinking about it as 1965.
Yeah.
I shot my first real good buck on my own in 57.
Yeah.
Actually, no, wait a minute. No. 57. No, I think I shot my first real buck with Harvey Moore's on the power line.
Yeah.
Had a 3840. Yep, that was before I shot. So that was 56
Okay.
when I first shot my buck on my own. Imagine that.
How old were you then? That would have been what?
10.
10 years old.
Jeez. That's not bad.
That's the day I got 2 pats on the head. Did you ever hear about that
No,
story?
I never heard
What's
that
that?
one.
Oh, you never heard about the 2 pats?
No.
God, you guys are pilgrims here about these
Oh, yeah.
stories, or babes in the woods. So, Saturday morning, first day of deer season in Vermont,
Yeah.
I get up, and Harvey comes through the door. He's going out with my sister. She was older than I was. He comes over and pats me on the head. "Want to go hunting with me today?" "Yeah." So he said, "Well, I'm going up to Hayden Hill." "Okay, let's cross the hill."
Yeah.
So I went up there, and we get there, and he says to me, "Now look, I want you to go up the power line. Now I'm going to go up in the woods, go across." And he said, "I want you to go up the power line because I don't want you getting lost."
Yep. Yep.
I'm looking at him, get lost. I ain't going to get lost. 'Cause I knew all that was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'll go up power line. Well, I get halfway up the power line, come over and look down, and there's a buck going, oh,
Yep.
goes in the woods. I said, I know, I must have hit him. I had to.
Yep.
So I go down in the woods, and somehow this deer, when he was running, he got his head caught in the crotch of a tree. He was just hanging there,
Oh,
about this high off the ground.
Yeah.
I'm trying to pull him out of the crotch of the tree, and I can't because I'm only 10 years old. The deer weighed 175 pounds. So I'm hollering for Harvey to come down, and I heard him faintly, and these 2 guys come along. "Geez, you just shot that deer?" "Yeah." I pulled it out of the crotch, and they looked at me, and, "You want us to gut it out for you?" "Sure." They gutted it out for me. The guy walks up and patted me on the head. So there's a second pat. I got that one. That's the 2 pats I got. Good job, little guy. And they walked off.
That's awesome.
They said, "You going to be okay?" I said, "Yeah, Harvey's coming down in a few minutes."
Yeah.
Harvey told me he's never taking me hunting again because he had to drag it out all by himself up there. "I'm taking you hunting again."
That's awesome. Say if you want to keep dating my sister, you will.
No, we never hunted again after that. He never did. He never did.
that was
take
it, huh?
And I remember the car he had. He had an old Chevy. It was green, one of them bubble back things.
Yeah.
It was 4-door.
Oh, jeez.
Loaded it in. We went home, hung it up. Remember, goes, "Geez, Harvey, nice deer you got." "I didn't shoot it. He shot it."
10-year-old Lanny.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's awesome.
That's crazy. You were talking about 300-pounders before, and I think you said your biggest buck last time we talked was, what, 272 or something like that, and that was over in Maine. Do you think you've ever been on the track of like a legitimate 300-pound buck?
Yeah.
Yeah? Multiple or just a couple?
maybe 2 or 3.
Yep.
What's the stories with them? What's a 300-pound buck doing?
Well, that bucket weighed 272. He could have been 300 pounds.
Yeah, you said that didn't have a cup of fat on him or something, right?
Right. All he had was a cup of fat. I put it all in one cup. That's all he had.
That's it.
Wow.
But he had a lot of muscle, though. He was not skinny. He
Just
was
a big old boy.
He was just a big, long, lanky deer. He was a huge buck. If he'd been like the one I shot 268, he'd have been 300 plus.
Yep.
Because the one I shot that weighed 268 on the Parliament Pond Road, that deer was fat. He had fat all through his head, and he wasn't a big deer. He was a short deer, but he was just plumped.
Yep.
He was all fattened up. He probably would have gone 2 1/4, maybe if he was lucky.
Yeah.
If he hadn't been all that fat on him. Jesus. I shot another one in Maine that went 245. That was a huge buck, but he was skin and bones.
Just super long buck.
Yeah, huge buck.
Jesus. Yeah.
I mean, when I started to see his foot tracks, I said, and watching the stride he had, I said, boy, this is a big boy. Yeah. That's a spaghetti buck when I was eating a can of spaghetti.
You're eating it. Have I heard that story? I don't think I've heard that story. You're eating a can of spaghetti.
Where have you guys been all this time?
Have I heard that one?
I just been rewatching your videos. You know, I'm watching. I ain't listening.
That's a spaghetti buck. Well, I had a can of spaghetti, see, and I'm tracking this buck. Been tracking him from daylight. I found his track. I parked right here. I walked over there, and there his track was, 100 feet from the Suburban.
Yep.
And I said, look at this big guy. Wow, what the hell? Right here, boy, this is lucky. This is back when we had some big deer in Maine.
Yep.
So anyways, I started tracking him, jumped him out a couple of times, and about 12 o'clock from daylight, that's how long I've been tracking him, and I wasn't pushing him hard either. I was just plugging along behind him. Mm-hmm. But meanwhile, we're going north. We're headed towards Skinner.
Yep.
I think that's what it was. So, about just before 12, I said, geez, I'm getting hungry. And I said to myself, wrong time. Forget about your spaghetti. I said, no, I want some spaghetti. I'm arguing with myself. I said, but this is the wrong time for this. The buck's right here. Forget your spaghetti. No. I took it out, opened it up. I'm eating some spaghetti, and I'm plugging along. Had my gun under my arm here. Come around a little corner, a bunch of spruces, and I looked over, and what happened was he moved his head, and that's how I spotted him quickly.
Yeah.
There's some snow fell off a tree over here, and his head went like that, looking at the snow. And I'm over here looking. I go, I dropped the can of spaghetti right there, and I went, boom. And I hit him right here in the chest.
Yeah.
That's probably the first buck I ever shot in the chest and broke his front leg.
Okay.
I shot one in Quebec that weighed 270 pounds and broke his front leg the same way. He was standing over a rock, and he caught it here and then snapped his leg off.
Yep.
So much force them things got.
Oh, yeah.
So anyways, I shot that buck. I left him there, and I walked over to the brook. That's I can't remember the name of that brook. It's more of a river. Holub.
Oh, yep.
Holub River?
Hold it. Yep.
That sounds familiar, yeah.
When in doubt, just call it Portage Brook.
There you go.
So I don't know where I'm in. I don't know where I'm at. Never hunted that country before.
Yep.
So I know I'm up in there a long ways. So I'm saying to myself, I'm standing by the brook looking at it. I see, I can hear a vehicle. God, it can't be too far from a road. Well, that's strange.
Yeah.
I heard a vehicle. Then I didn't hear it no more. So anyways, I head back. I headed back at 12:30. I got there at 4 o'clock, and I went just as fast as I could go. That's how far up in I was.
Oh, man.
So I get back, and Denny, the guy who was hunting with me, says, how'd your day go? I said, well, I shot a big buck up there. Got shitty horns, but I shot him. Didn't carry his big deer. Mm-hmm. Well, let's go back and drag him out. I said, Denny, I've been walking since 12:30. I'm just got here. Can you imagine that if we go back? We finally find him. We're going to be dragging all night. We get back here in the morning sometime. Everybody will be worried to death. No, I'm coming back tomorrow with a boat. I'm going to go down Holub River, and we're going to find that deer. So we did that. So I get all the way down there, and we finally find the deer because there was a little brook that came out, and I couldn't find the brook.
Okay.
I told the boys, I said, I know it's right here is where I shot this deer, but I can't find the brook. Well, come to find out, the brook went underground before it got to the river.
Oh, wow.
That's why I couldn't find the brook.
Yeah.
Finally, after going up and down, I said, I know it's right here. I know I was standing right there on that little gravel spot.
Yeah.
So I got out and walked, oh yeah, here's the brook's underneath the freaking bank.
Yeah.
So we went up and found the deer, and I said, my spaghetti can's over, I'm going to check on that. I went over, the fork's still sticking straight up. I says, well, I don't feel like spaghetti right now, but so we'll just leave it there. So now I go back down, I'm standing on shore, and I'm telling these guys, I said, listen, there's got to be a road around here someplace, even though we came down the river. I heard a vehicle go by here yesterday. You're nuts in the head. I said, no, I ain't. I'm telling you, I heard a vehicle. I looked, and I said, there goes one right there. We're all looking. It was the railroad tracks, and the guy was driving on the road. You couldn't see the tracks.
Oh, okay.
You could see the roof go by.
Yep. Yep.
I said, well, there goes a truck. We're like, what? Yeah. We walked over to the fucking railroad track.
Oh, my God. That's
What?
awesome.
Excuse me. I said the F word.
No,
you're
we
good. We do
swear
that all
all
the
the time. Yeah. Oh, God.
Ah, shit. I got a question.
Now, you see, that's an adventure.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
You got to have
that's
adventure.
everything. You get the boat. It's so cool taking a buck out by boat. That's the ultimate. I feel like
Yep.
just different.
yeah.
It's cool. That's awesome. You go bathroom.
Yeah.
Bathroom break.
Bathroom break.
What was you said you had a story about where you made some enemies with a couple bucks?
Oh,
You want to dive back into that story?
Yeah, if you want to hear that one. I don't know if you ever have.
Let's hear it.
No,
yeah.
we,
Let's
So
dive back in.
So I come back from Maine, shot a nice big buck in Maine. I don't remember exactly what year this was. It had to be in the early 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So I stopped by the snowmobile place that sold me a snowmobile to go racing with.
yep.
His name was Bill Johnson. Billy said to me, what are you doing tomorrow? I said, well, I want to go deer hunting. Billy says to me, well, I'd like to take you up to Yellow Bog up there in Island Pond. He says, because there's a buck up there I tracked for a week. I've never seen him.
Mm-hmm.
Tracked him every day. Come back to the same spot every night, and every day I track that steer, and I haven't seen him. He says, I'd like to have you pick me up tomorrow morning, if you would, and I'm not even going to bring a gun. He says, I just want to see the deer.
Okay.
You said you're the man for the job then.
Yeah. I said, well, maybe you'll have a chance to drag. I'll drag it out. You shoot it. It's okay.
Yeah.
So we go up the next day, and I'm putting down the logging road up there in Yellow Bog, and I see this big buck track crossing the road. Nice one. Beautiful track. I get out of my van. I didn't have a four-wheel drive at that time. I get out of my van. I go, boy, this is a nice buck right here. What's wrong with this one, Billy? That's not the one I was tracking.
Ooh.
I said, really? I said, I'm happy with this one. No, I don't care about that deer. I want to see the one I was tracking. Okay. So we're driving down the road. I said, now listen, if I get this one today, can I come back tomorrow? Do you mind? No, I don't care about that buck back there. All right. So we drive up the road, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 miles. Right around the corner here, he says that buck crosses every morning. I said, really? Of course, meanwhile, I'm thinking, yeah, okay. Get up to the corner, and I get out and look, and there's this great big buck track in the road, big one. I said, wow. Yeah, he said, that's the one. He said, I know that's the one because he's here all the time. I've tracked this deer for a week. Never even seen a tail. I said, well, we'll track him.
Yep.
So, hour and a half later, he come out with some spruces, and I drilled him right behind the shoulder. I said, you're going to get a good look at him now. He weighed 225 or something like that.
Oh,
big
man.
10-pointer, big old heavy rack, you know. And when the deer was dead on his feet, he wrapped his horns right around a tree, hit it dead center. Boom. So we got it out, and Billy dragged it all out. And I said to him on the way home, now, you don't mind if we come back and shoot the other one tomorrow, do you? No, I don't care. It's okay. So I give him Shane and Pop, and we go back and shoot the other one. And that was another one that had a big ivory rack like this.
Yeah.
Beautiful deer. So we shot that one. Well, come to find out, the people that Billy was in the camp found out that we went up there and shot them 2 big bucks because everybody had been hunting them 2 deer for 2 weeks.
Oh, no.
the DeVoe guys or whatever their names are.
Yeah, yeah.
They're all puckered about it. Like, what the hell? They come up here in 2 days, shoot them both? So they come down, looked at the deer. They weren't too bad about it, but but Billy almost got kicked out of camp. You ever do that again? You're getting kicked out of camp.
Oh shit! So they were serious about it then.
Yeah.
They were pissed.
Oh, of course they were.
Yeah.
So what's happened through the years when people tell me, well, I want you to come to camp. There's a big buck. We can't seem to get him up back. And when I tell everybody, I said, now listen, you guys, I really don't want to do that. If I show up there and I go shoot that deer, which is probably could happen, I said, now you lost your big buck. He's going to be gone.
Yep.
So I just don't want to do that to you. Now you got a big buck. You can go up there and talk about it every night and see him run over the bank and nobody got a shot. And
Yep.
I says, if I show up, I ain't bragging, but it could happen. More than likely.
It probably will.
Just a matter of fact.
Yeah.
God, that's awesome.
Oh jeez.
But I've done that over and over. And I got to tell you another quick story if you guys don't mind.
Oh, absolutely.
Mom got a nice buck that year, too.
Oh, mom's.
So anyways, I get home from hunting up north, and every night somebody'd stop by and tell me about this great big buck on across the hill. The road just crossed my dad's house.
Yeah.
Boy, there's a great big one up there, big rack on it. So I stop the next night, and somebody tell me again. Of course, you take a lot of this a grain of salt, because a lot of times the rack is this big, and they make it,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Finally, after about 4 or 5 days of that, I said to my dad, I'm going to go up there and check this out. Maybe there is a big buck up there across the hill. So I took Mom and myself, and we went up there. Next day, and I'm walking up the logging road, and I look down, and there's this great big buck track in the road. I said, geez, there is a big buck up here. Well, I just know right where they hang out for some unknown reason, because I hunted that place ever since I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
So I went right up there, and I looked about 150 yards up through there, and there he was looking at a doe. Mom got a nice buck that year. She made such a good shot up through there, you just couldn't believe it.
That's awesome.
Good for mom right there.
She went powie, and the deer felt the bullet come out this side.
Yeah.
That's what they do, and they ran right towards us. I'm watching. He's coming right down through and fell over right there.
Oh, wow.
Not from here to there, but,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100 feet over there. I said, well, that was great.
Oh,
Logging
man.
road's right here.
Yeah.
Good job, mom, right there.
Well, we took it downtown. The scales only went to 200.
Oh, darn it. Yeah.
Max the scales.
Max that one out.
Yeah, I'd probably went 2.25, 230 maybe.
Oh,
But
yeah.
10-pointer.
Jeez.
They were telling the truth. There was a nice buck up there.
That's awesome.
Just had to be the one to go find it.
I just couldn't believe I doubted those people all week.
Yep. Yeah.
I love hearing those old Vermont stories
yeah.
about the golden days when there's those big bucks kicking around
Yeah.
Duxbury area, Waterbury.
But see, that's the way it was for me when I grew up.
Yeah.
And I apologize for trying to make it sound easy, but
It's just
You don't need to apologize for anything.
people owe you thanks. That's for sure.
No, it's confidence, and it was well-deserved confidence. So
Yep.
Yep.
I got 2 more questions for you, Lanny. We talked about Vermont, Maine, and Ontario. Out of all the places you've hunted and all the times you've hunted, what would you say is like your favorite place to hunt? You can even reflect back on the old days in Vermont or Maine or Ontario. What's your
if you had a time machine,
what feels like home to you?
Yeah.
Like
Maine feels, I love Maine.
yeah,
And I used to tell people when I went up there hunting in the 70s and early 80s, this is what I used to say to them, this is our last frontier here for New England.
yeah,
For the East, this is it.
yeah,
This is our last frontier. When this is gone, we won't have no more of this.
yep,
We can still hunt here,
yep.
but when they cut all this off, it's going to be over. And it is.
Oh yeah,
That was our last frontier for the Northeast right there.
yep.
And New Hampshire still has big woods, but it's not like Maine. Maine's got logging roads, can drive around on. New Hampshire don't have that.
No, it's a lot.
You can get on logging roads and drive all day in Maine. That's wonderful. And that's what I liked about Ontario. Ontario was the next best place for me because you could get away from hunters. You could drive out 80 miles out in the pucker brush because if you knew where to go in Ontario, you could get away from everybody.
Yeah,
There weren't a lot of deer there, but there was deer.
Yep.
And Quebec was the same way. Crossed that big seaway they got up there in Quebec. That western end of that was some big country there. I drove around one day. I put 150 miles on. I saw one vehicle.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Not a lot of deer, but there was deer.
Mm-hmm.
And if you had snow, you could shoot a really nice buck.
Was tracking up in Quebec just like Maine back in the old days?
Same thing.
Same type of woods, same type of deer.
Same everything.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of big deer there.
You don't hear a lot of that now as far as
Well, I
people
think
going
you have
up
to hire
Quebec.
a guide now.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, you're right.
Maybe. I don't know if I'm right on that, but.
I hunted on Zekland when I hunted there.
Oh, okay.
You had to pay $20 to go across the gate.
Okay.
Interesting.
What happened was I was down to the store when I was in Quebec scouting. I was scouting every day. And I'd go in this store, and this guy had this great big map there for that end of the province. And I said to him, well, he says to me, he says, are you looking for a place to hunt? Yeah. He said, well, you can just hunt out back, use our tree stands. You're welcome down here. Yeah, okay, I appreciate the offer. And I'm looking, I said, what's this here? It's got this big map, big wilderness, logging roads here and there. You can see it all. Oh, you don't go deer hunting up in there. That's just moose. Only moose hunters go up there.
Light bulb went off for you right there.
Ding, 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 ding. Don't go up there.
Yeah.
Oh, heavens. That's this big country. You don't hunt up there. There's hunt right here. Plenty of deer here. And we came back a week later, and he's looking at the top of the rig we had. He said, what? Where'd you get those? Just up the road.
A moose country. Oh, that's awesome.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm not answering that. I know who that is, my racing partner. I'll call him back.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, he couldn't understand. There's a big old rackers laying up there. One weighed 270.
Wow.
Holy shit.
See, and I thought I shot the big one. I scouted for 3 days up there. Never bothered going in the woods. I just drove around looking.
Yep.
Tracks crossing the road up in that big country.
Yep.
And I'm down there by the river, sort of. It's not a river, but it's where they did the boats.
Yeah.
You could look over and see Ontario, but I'm in Quebec. So I get down there and come back up, and there's this huge buck track crossing the road. I said, whoa, it's on the third day of scouting. I said, well, this is where I'm going to hunt in the morning, bare ground.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to the boys, just drop me off there, and I'm going to go up in here because the big buck's headed that way, and I see some other decent buck tracks. So I went up there, and I'm probably an hour into it. There was a big rock right there. So I leaned on a rock, had my gun sitting there, and I did the usual thing. I went over by that tree over there and pissed around a little bit, and I pissed around over there.
That's an underrated term right there, pissed around.
I come back, and I leaned back on the rock again, holding my gun, looking down there. What happened was I walked down there, and there was a deer trail coming out down there, and there was a deer trail going this way, bare ground. I said, well, shit. I went back up and leaned on the rock. I said, well, you might as well stay here for a while. There's no snow. I was waiting for snow to happen.
Yeah.
I weren't up there. I got back up there. I weren't up there 5 minutes maybe. Just got done peeing on the tree over there. I looked down, this buck walked out. I said, Jesus, that looks like a big freaking deer right there.
Yeah.
Decent rack on him. So I leaned over the rock, but boom. And he fell and broke his leg because he was standing over a rock like the spaghetti buck did. So I dragged him out. Well, a few days later, I saw a trapper up there. And I'm telling him, I said, geez, that deer weighed 270. I said, that's a big freaking deer. Because I saw him earlier, and he's telling me about this monster buck.
Yep.
I said, I think I shot your monster buck. He's looking at me, nope, that ain't the one. I said, really?
Wow.
Well, come to find out, I left that deer overnight because I couldn't drag it.
Yeah.
If you ever try to drag a deer weigh 270 pounds on bare ground, it don't work good for you.
Jesus Christ.
You need two people.
Yeah.
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 Because I had a lawn sail up there. I'm pulling on it, and the rope broke.
Oh.
Glasses flew off. I lost the drag stick. Found that 10 minutes later. So I dragged him over and buried him there, and we come back on the next day. Well, when I come back the next day, another track was bigger than his that come right up that logging road and did some scrapes right there.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that going, Mike, there is a bigger one here. What the hell? At least his tracks were. But we never got that deer because we headed home pretty soon after that. Bernie got a nice buck the next day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, you never hear much about those Quebec hunting stories and stuff, but I've always wondered.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, that western end over there, when you're in Ontario and you see that waterway like that and you look see them ridges over there, ever get a chance, you should go over there and hunt that.
That's good stuff.
To try out one day. I want to get up to Canada one day.
I only hunted there once, at one time.
Really? And you shot a 270.
Yeah.
You're like, I ain't
One
going
and
back.
done.
Well, I wish.
Wasn't three.
Here's the problem: was I've always drove by there to go to Ontario, which you're in Ontario here.
Yep.
But I keep going west. But I look at that every time I went by, and how I noticed that country. And I'm going to go back a little bit. See, I used to go out there snowmobile racing because Bombardier paid me to go all over Canada. So I'm towing out there to go snowmobile racing in January and March and April or whenever the hell it is, in December. But I'm seeing these big deer on the side of the road, standing on big rock crossings, watching us go by. You can see the big bucks.
Yeah.
And I said to my brother, we got to come out here deer hunting and look at these things. That's how we ended up going out there.
Oh, wow.
Just looking at, I'm going to come back for you. We'll be back.
Stay right
Be
there.
back with a gun.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Man, it's crazy. A lot of history there. No doubt about it. One day I want to get to Canada because maybe one day when they come back a little bit. I know they got that wolf problem now, but.
Write this down, Pembroke.
All right, I got you. I got the pen. Where was it? Say it.
Pembroke. Go to Pembroke.
Edit that part out, Adam.
All right.
You cross that river at Pembroke, get into Quebec.
Yep.
And then you head for Zekland.
Zeklin.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, if it's the same as it is, you have to buy a permit to be on their land.
Yep. Yep.
And there wasn't a lot of hunters on it.
No.
I only saw one deer hunter.
Did you ever deal with wolves back then, or was they just weren't even around back then?
There were a few of those.
You ever have any close calls with them, or nothing really?
No, they knew that they needed to get going.
You don't want to be anywhere near you with a rifle if you're running.
I didn't have to throw my gun. I didn't bother with that.
No kidding. All right, I got one last question for you, then we'll wrap it up. And so with the Benoit videos coming back out, you're heading down to Huntstock. You can be chatting with a bunch of people. And, I mean, you're probably seeing the increase in interest in tracking over the last 20 years, and especially nowadays with all the content and stuff. How does it make you feel personally to know that you have had such a big impact on the sport, and where do you see the sport going?
I like the idea that people are tracking instead of sitting. I've tried to promote that for a long time, and I used to talk about to elderly people, if you can walk 3 or 5 miles a day, you should go track a deer. Mm-hmm. It's way more fun, more interesting than sitting in a tree stand. If you get tired, just take your time and go track a deer. You don't have to shoot the deer, just have fun doing it, because he's going to show you where you might be a better spot to put your deer stand.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm happy that people are tracking. I like that because they're becoming more real hunters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All you need to do is put a sandwich in the back. We should talk about diet someday. I did a lot of diet testing when I was running through the woods.
If you want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. Absolutely.
Well, it's going to, what made a lot of sense to my diet was when I was watching some of these people that are camped out in Alaska and they were talking about what they needed, and it's exactly what I needed to go track deer day after day. A lot of fat.
Just
Not carbohydrates.
giving
Fat.
your body energy, that fat that needs to burn.
Yep.
Yep.
I tried every kind of diet you could. High protein. You need the fat.
That's the energy.
It makes sense. Think about it. Eskimos.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
They're eating, what, seal blubber and shit like that?
Yeah. Well, the last playing around I did was in Ontario. I just got playing with it again. And I went to the PNC, and I said, that's salami right there. I want it cut in half-inch slices. The lady says, I can't do that. I said, what do you mean you can't do it? You're going to cut me these slices. I want a half-inch slice. Well, I can't do that. I said, get your manager over here. That's what I want. If you can't do that, just give me the whole stick of it. I don't give a shit. I'll cut it myself. So we had this big discussion. We're fighting over it in the store. I just want to buy some salami. How hard is this shit?
Yeah.
So finally, I get some salami, and I take it to Ontario, and I try it myself hiking around the woods. You don't even, chocolate bars, you might as well toss them things. They ain't nothing. They taste great, but they don't do nothing for you.
Yep.
They actually hurt you more than they help you. So I tried it, and I said, geez, that's quite a kick in the ass. Because I tried protein tablets. I tried everything, beans. You know, I used to can beans, spaghetti, and I tried it all. Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are okay, but they ain't nothing like fat.
Yep, just fatty meat.
Just plain fat.
Yep.
And in the morning, you should eat a greasy breakfast.
Yep.
Forget about the oatmeal. Throw that in the trash can.
Yep.
Everybody go, oh, have a oatmeal. No, you don't want. No, there's
Straight
nothing.
carbs right there. Yeah.
That's gone in by 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
If you have 3 eggs or 4 eggs, you have some potatoes, peanut butter and jelly on your toast, which is good, bacon, and fry your eggs in the bacon grease.
All right.
That's good for 12 o'clock, 11 to 12.
So he's saying fat's the key. So technically, I should be the best tracker
You're in
around
shape.
right
You
now.
better start.
Not a fat person.
Okay. All right.
I will give you a Mexican named Poncho.
All right, there we go. I'm going to use it. I've got enough nicknames, but I'll take one more.
We'll get poncho and embroidered on your jacket this year.
Well, I'll say one thing. If you are a 20-something out there that has never seen these videos, you need to go to Huntstock and you need to buy these videos because they are the best tracking videos ever made. And,
That's true.
You got to get down there and you got to do it because there's only a limited amount being made, and it's you're gonna regret it if you don't get them. So.
Absolutely, they're gonna sell out for sure. Now I got one more question about the diet thing. This is big. This is big right here because I thought of it. Where does the Trackers Chew come into the diet plan?
Oh.
How does that benefit the tracker right there?
Well, I've looked at their lips, and they got pretty good lips there to pack a chew in there, so I think...
Oh, yeah. Deer would be great chewers.
Well, Tom Blaze said to me one night, we're sitting in camp, and he says, Lanny, what the hell is your secret to walking all day, every day, and keep going? Do I have to drink a 6-pack every night like you do? I said, no, that's the wrong way of going.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
I mean, look at you. You're still going even with that diet. I mean, you're making it work.
Yeah.
Well, I've always been on a high cholesterol diet my whole life.
And never had
You know, Mike, this is true.
Yeah.
Now, you think about this for a minute. So this is comical. So check my diet here a couple of years ago. They always do. They do a blood test.
Yeah.
So I'm telling the doctor, I said, listen, I've been on a high cholesterol diet my whole life. Oh, my God. He says, what's up? You shouldn't be doing that. I says, well, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I just like my cholesterol, I guess.
Yeah.
I love my eggs cooked in the bacon fat, and I like the bacon. And when I have tomato sandwiches, I got half inch of fucking mayonnaise on there.
Yeah.
You know? It's all grease.
Yeah.
So now we get my blood test done, and he's looking at it, and he's going, oh, wow, That's what he said. You know, I'm sitting where you are.
Yeah.
I go, oh, this ain't good. This is bad.
Yeah.
I said, oh, shit, this is bad. I said, well, we'll get the bad news in a minute. So I said, well, Doc, how bad is it? He says, well, I don't know. I haven't really seen a lot of this, but you got it. I said, oh, goodness. Do you think there's a cure? Can we help me? So he said, you know what your cholesterol is? I said, I ain't got a clue. He's 47.
Wow.
The bad cholesterol is 47. You ever hear such a stupid thing?
Oh, my God. You
He
got it
says-
figured out.
He says, whatever you're doing, don't stop. You keep. Does that mean I can drink a 6-pack a day?
Eat all the bacon, 6-pack a day, just living. Living the dream.
That's awesome.
So the first year it was 48,
Yeah.
and then a year or so ago it was 47. Staying right there. How is it
Don't change
47?
a goddamn thing.
I mean, think about that.
Oh, man.
Oh,
And you're what? You're 77?
Yeah,
Still cranking.
yeah. I still work
awesome.
hard all the time.
Yeah.
That's the key.
I'm
You're
still
active.
doing.
moving.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
doing this and doing drywall like
Yeah.
this all
Yeah,
the
you're
time.
up and down all the time, moving
Yeah.
around. That's key. They say as soon as you stop moving, that's when old man gets you.
Well, I'm framing on the house down there and on the lake. I mean, I'm up on the roof and framed it all, did the floor system, and I'll tell you what, boy, I was out of shape when I started that.
Yeah.
I could barely walk after a few days of that stuff.
Yep.
lean me up so bad because I weren't used to doing that.
But now you're getting stronger every day.
My gluteus muscles are really sore. I could barely sit down.
You'll be ready to kill a buck, though, come November.
Yeah, you got some more big bucks in your future. I can't wait to see what you do.
Well, maybe.
At least have a good time doing it.
Oh, yeah,
that's
that's all that matters. That's all
I just want to have fun doing it.
Yep.
That's all that matters. That's what we all should be doing. It shouldn't be as much, the competition.
Yeah.
Just enjoying the moment. It's a good way
But that fat, you guys try that this year. Just go get a slice of salami, about that thick, and just take a couple bites of it. You don't need much of it.
So you said you had the greasy breakfast and the fatty breakfast got you till noon. So then at noon is when the salami, you busted out the old salami
When
stick,
you
or
start
what?
feeling yourself get a little wobbly because you're trucking along, you know how you get a little wobbly,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
your
You feel
legs ain't quite steady like they were.
Mm-hmm.
Just take a little break, have a little salami with you, and eat that and watch what happens. You guys try that. You're going to be
I'm gonna try it.
amazed. You're going to say, whoa, that kicked in.
Yeah,
It's like
I
you're
believe it.
supercharged.
Yeah.
Get a second win right there, and you're going.
That's what everybody told me that I had test at.
Interesting.
We'll definitely try it.
Yeah,
for sure.
Let's give it a shot.
You're going to see me with the track pack with a big log of salami coming out of it. No room for a camera.
Got it strapped to the outside.
I'm all salamied out tonight. What happened to you today? Oh, I'm all salamied out.
I'm not hungry. Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome. I can see it now.
That makes a good
Think
t-shirt.
about this. You can make a little video about that.
Oh, we will. Oh God. Well, we really appreciate you coming on here. This has been a hell of a lot of fun. So
Be a lot of guys happy you came on, and
yeah,
like you said before, get your tickets to Huntstock if you want to see Lanny. Are they putting you up in the Ritz-Carlton down there, or what? Yeah, you
I
guessed
don't know.
on, or-
I don't even know if they're putting me up. Maybe I'll sleep in my Suburban. Hard to wash my face in there, though.
we got a U-Haul and an air mattress if times get tough. So you come right over and see us.
Oh man, yeah. We'll definitely link up and shoot the breeze down there at Huntstock with you again, Lanny. But we appreciate you doing this with us, and yeah, I guess we'll see you on the next episode. And yeah, thanks again, Lanny. This was awesome.
I think that this year at Huntstock we can be there at 12 o'clock at night eating steak again.
I think if we really believe in ourselves, I think we can make that happen.
We'll go drag a steer out and tell the owners he's going to be all done if you don't get something out there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh man,
We want a spike horn.
I can help there.
Greg's specialty.
Yeah. So,
All right. We'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you.
You're listening to STAGR Cast, brought to you by STAGR Gear.